Well, the answer to that question is, it depends. Jeff Thompson with the selfie at the cross-country state tourney. We are off and running to review the fall season. So celebrate with us as we wrap it up. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Joe, we're at the end. We're at the end of the fall season.
As they say, all good things must come to an end. So we do still have a little bit of business to take care of. The swim and diving team doesn't have their section meet until the end of this week.
Right.
We'll update you on any results from that when we start the winter season. But everybody else, we're going to wrap up. And we're going to start by some state tournament talk. Coon Rapids well represented at Saturday's cross-country state championship meet. This is the first time in more than 10 years that the Cardinals have had 3 qualifiers in the same season. It's also the first time since 2016 they've had a qualifier on the girls' side. It's been a long time coming for the program. It's been a long time coming for Ruby Demmer. She's had the team's best time at sections 4 years in a row, and she's only a sophomore. She set a school record with her time at sections this year, finishing 9th and qualifying for state. It was a beautiful day for the race at the Les Bolstad Golf Course at the University of Minnesota, and Ruby paced well, moving through the field throughout the race. She didn't duplicate the school record time, but still had a very solid showing, finishing in 19 minutes, 39.4 seconds to take 61st place. She'll have 2 more years to try and improve. Principal John Pena, tennis coach Scott Storick, and AD Jeff Thompson there to support the Cardinals. Boys team had 2 qualifiers, both seniors, Owen James and Lachlan Demmer, who was the first section champion for the Cardinals in 15 years. Demmer was the team's only qualifier last year, and he finished 139th. Talk about the difference a year can make. Demmer took more than a minute off of his time from state last year to this year, and he moved up more than 100 spots. Demmer worked his way through a crowded field and finished 19th in 16 minutes, 1.6 seconds. James had a solid race too, coming in 42nd with a time of 17:42.8. All-state honors for Lachlan Demmer, very well deserved. He had the second fastest time in school history at sections, and his 16:01 on Saturday, the best time ever in a state tournament for a Cardinal athlete.
That is so cool, and certainly this program is going to miss him. But
hugely.
Yeah.
And the boys are going to lose a big bunch.
A lot to graduation, so they'll have to see what they can do to regroup there. Well, getting 3 athletes to state was a fitting end to a season that saw both Cardinal programs take big steps forward. The cross-country teams, like so many others, are struggling to get their kids out for their teams. But what they lack in quantity, they make up in quality. Boys team was a senior-dominated squad. They came in with a lot of veteran leadership and a lofty goal getting to state as a team. While they fell short of that, pretty much every one of them improved throughout the season, and their leader had a season for the ages. Lachlan Demmer was their top finisher in every race, getting 3 race wins this season, including section championships. He returned to state and finished in the top 20, while Owen James also qualified, finished his career at the biggest meet of the year. Boys were 77th in the conference. 7th in the conference and 4th in the section, but they returned just 1 runner from the section roster. It's kind of the opposite story for the girls team. Lily McKenzie was their only senior running at section. This team really struggled with numbers, barely able to field a team at times. They were led all year by sophomore Ruby Demmer, who finished all conference, and then qualified for state with the fastest 5K time in program history. Cardinals got contributions from every grade level, down into the middle school years. So they'll have some decent pieces to build on, but they really need more numbers to add to their depth and help push their leaders to go even faster.
Yeah,
that's going to be the big thing for them.
That's a common theme just across all sports, and I'm sure all extracurriculars across the board. Just got to get more kids to come out and have some fun. There you see it, though, a big group for the boys team. Lachlan Demmer and Owen James, of course, the 2 state qualifiers. Chell Norquist, Tyler Vossen, Marco Velasquez, Cole Burnett, Tyth Koo, Nicholas Ryland, Gilbert Kostick, Albie Ludwig, Brody Falk, and Ben Simon. And on the girls' side, Lily McKenzie, Kendall Martinick, Megan Fuller, and Grace Burnt. So just 4, but we're going to talk about the swimming and diving team, same kind of situation.
Yep.
Even smaller numbers for the girls. I don't even know that they broke 10 girls on the team this year. So really need more girls out. And the girls, the swimming and diving team we talked about all year long, even last year and the year before, only 22 girls. So a lot of room for more bodies to come out and join
Go out
join
and have
the
some
team.
fun. Absolutely.
And that is who we're talking about next. The swimming and diving team, as I mentioned earlier, will compete in their section tournament coming up to the end of this week. We'll update you on those results when we start the winter season of Sportsnight. But regardless how the meet goes, it's been a season of promise for the Cardinals squad. The second year under Coach Ashley Radis saw the team continue to improve on their individual times. However, their continued struggle with numbers makes it incredibly hard to compete in their very tough conference and section. Do you sense a theme? The Cardinals' only win came in the conference tri-meet at the end of the year, but that's not to say they didn't have some significant successes along the way. Ellie Lewis was a very strong performer for the Cardinals in every meet, providing solid senior leadership while picking up points for the team every time she hit the water. Behind her, their top performers most nights were sophomore Delilah Smith-Jeanette on the board and 8th grader Lily Moulton, who proved to be very versatile and able to compete in just about any event. Cardinals only lose 4 seniors, but when that comes from a total of 20 to 22 girls, that's a pretty significant loss. The team will definitely be pushing to get more people in the pool next fall to hopefully help with the program's progression.
Yeah, and the good thing about they've got some contributors who are youngsters, obviously, and that's going to be around for a few years. But you're right, they need to be able to push some numbers up for the following year.
And there are the 4 seniors: Abby Peterson, Carrie Hartung, Elizabeth Hogarth, and Gabrielle Lewis. And the youth contributions are huge.
Big time.
But more bodies. And we see them just without even getting anyone in the pool, just on the pool deck next to a regular-sized team. Blaine has struggled with numbers a little bit more, not to the extent that the Cardinals have. But you see them against a team like Maple Grove or a Centennial where they've got 40 to 60 girls on the side.
It's quite a difference.
It's pretty easy to notice that it's a significant difference. But they're going to lay it on the line. They have sections at Northdale Middle School Thursday through Saturday this week. And again, we'll update you when we get into the winter season of Sportsnight.
Yes, coming soon. Coming soon to a TV near you. Well, the girls' tennis team probably surpassed a lot of people's expectations this season. Cardinals had a solid combination of veteran leadership and young up-and-coming talent. They turned in a very solid season and hope to build on it into the future. Cardinals returned a solid core this fall, and they had a goal to improve on their previous year's performance. Their greatest strength on paper was their singles lineup. They had all 4 girls back with an added year of experience. But what was really their greatest strength was their resiliency and their effort. After losing 3 straight close matches, close matches, I'm off my script. They earned a home match to start the season tournament. They were able to get a win before their season ended against the highly ranked Buffalo squad. Cardinals will lose 4 seniors who all played big roles. This team included Gabby Newton, who filled the first single spot for 4 seasons and finished all conference this year. But they returned 6 of their starting 10, including all-conference sophomore Caitlin Easton and junior Melanie Lee, who filled the second and third single spots this year and will be the captains next fall. They will hopefully help this team take another step forward in 2025.
Good recovery.
Yeah, thanks. It's like just all of a sudden gone.
There they are, Gabby Newton, Macy Ruddy, Abby Semensky, and Coral Weber. And yeah, Gabby will be a huge piece lost. We talked about it, that top single spot really has to set the tone. And you play against some very elite players, match in and match out. And she was there for 4 years. So that's a big spot. And Macy Ruddy, absolutely one of the happiest, friendliest people you could ever come across. So she will definitely be missed as the couple of years as a captain for the program as well. But they do have quite a bit back, and we'll see. Always interesting to see how they reload. Coach Storick, so committed to tennis across the board in Coon Rapids. That definitely helps reload that program year after year. Well, the boys soccer team may have been the most pleasant surprise of the fall season. There were a lot of question marks for the team coming in. They had a new coach with a new system, and they were trying to end a years-long scoring slump. Coach Matt Backberg came in preaching and pushing a ball control offense. He was confident it would lead to more offense, and it certainly did. The Cardinals, who had just 8 goals in each of the previous 2 seasons, started with a 3-2 win over Rogers in the opener and matched that 8 goals by Game 5. Their style looked a little bit different, but the results are what matters. The Cardinals outpossessed their opponents this season and created more than double the amount of shots as they had done the year before. They finished with 25 goals this year, led by sophomore Adam Kish, who had 10 goals to finish 10th in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Also, the Cardinals were only shut out 3 times this year compared to 8 times last season. Their 3-9-4 record is only a minor improvement, but there's a lot of reason for optimism. Cardinals have 8 seniors, and they all played big roles. But what they return is really exciting. Their top 4 goal scorers are Kish, junior captain Noah Akasip, sophomore Tamzer Jarju, and freshman Omar Wolke. And those guys really were impressive to see how quickly they came along. Add to that sophomore keeper Drew Howard, who made some amazing saves to keep the Cardinals in a lot of games this season. There's a bunch of others coming back too. So the future for this team really looking bright. And I've got to say, there's always a little bit of trepidation when things change, but what a significant change it was in year 1 under Coach Backberg. There are the seniors: Jackson Young, Keegan Anderson, AJ Sovey, Mitch Gobranson, Austin Hacker, Alfonso Newfill, Kevin Larson, and Landon Wolf.
You know, we had Coach Backberg on our summer sports night edition before the season started, and you could tell the attitude that he had planned to take this program and turn it around and really be successful. And granted, they didn't get the wins that they wanted or he expected, but the fact they went from 8 goals to 25, that's huge. That's huge.
Well, and he sent me a nice email kind of encapsulating what he felt about the season, and he said, you know, in this conference, they really stress a lot more of big, strong, athletic play. But what I want to see from our team and what we want to do moving forward is more ball control. And it may look a little bit different, but the results are showing themselves. And excited to see what they can do moving forward. Yes. Clearly, again, they'd like to improve on the 3 wins.
Yes, they would.
But it was a slight I think they were 2 points better than they were the season before. But the offense and the defense really both took big steps this year.
Well, the girls soccer team took some lumps this season. They're very young and should have a lot of experience coming back. Cardinals really struggled, especially early in the season, to get their offense going. But it's never going to get easier in this conference and this section. Cardinals had 4 seniors this season, and all of them have been strong leaders for multiple years. Those seniors led the Cardinals' attack, settled their midfield, and anchored their defense, but they also passed the torch. Cardinals had several 8th graders play big minutes in most of their important games this season, and with the sophomores and juniors continuing to improve, they're set to have a lot of experience on the field in the coming years. The Cardinals tried to stay scrappy despite losing 12 in a row to start the season. They finally broke the streak with a 13-goal outburst against St. Paul Johnson and followed it up with a 6-0 win over Park Center. Those were their only wins this season, so they clearly have plenty of work to do. But it seems as if they have had the right pieces in place to carry this program forward into the future. Yeah, Joe, they do have some work to do, quite obviously. But, you know, again, it's always a good attitude with these programs.
Sophia Backery, Tessa Delfrat, Caitlin Griffith, and Bailey Rao, the 4 seniors. And yeah, they did get a lot of girls good minutes. I was impressed with how much Coach Ben Benson got those middle school girls in. They were, each time that we saw a game, they were playing big minutes, and it will pay huge dividends when you're stepping onto the field as a 5th-year varsity senior. it makes a big difference.
It certainly does.
Big difference, and yeah, we'll see. And they also, again, they have those strong players at those junior and sophomore levels that will help them, with more immediate success. But building for the future is, and again, a program that only the second year under Coach Benson.
Absolutely.
Well, the volleyball team is in almost the exact same position as the girls' soccer team. Clearly, the Cardinals would have liked to have had a lot more success this season. However, you've got to admire their tenacity and feel some optimism based on what they have coming back. When a team has a trying season, body language can tell you a lot. The teams that hang their shoulders or stare at the skies rarely find a way to get things turned around. But you didn't see that from the volleyball squad. They were the opposite, still smiling, cheering for one another, and picking each other up, no matter the score and regardless of their record. Right up until their final match of the year against the top-seeded Centennial squad, you saw a group of athletes that competed hard and encouraged one another to never give up. They managed just a single win this season, and the vast majority of their losses were by sweep. But still, they battled on, and I think that's what you can expect from the program moving forward. Their tri-captains, Bella Nelson, Natalie Ashworth, and Lydia Foster, were great leaders for this squad, and Coach Talana Rodzitas says they will be nearly impossible to replace. However, they also got a lot of girls' experience this year that will be able to help build the program for years to come. They had girls down to 8th and 9th grade playing meaningful roles for them, and that's a big deal. But their largest group by far is their junior class. So look for this team to make a huge jump in 2025 because they are going to have some power in the junior level this year that will all be seniors next season. There are your seniors: Bella Nelson, Lydia Foster, Natalie Ashworth, and Ariana Moe.
Well, we talked about all year long the fact that they've struggled, obviously, the volleyball squad, but their attitude has been great. And I think that starts from the top in their coaching staff, because it allows them, even though they're not being successful on the court, it allows them to continue to play their game, to continue to have fun, which I think is one of the biggest things. And they're upbeat, so they didn't let the team get down.
It's 100%.
Well, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket because I actually get to read the football script for like maybe once in 10 years, I think it happens.
Once a decade, I'll throw you a bone.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate that, Joe. But last, certainly not least, the Cardinals football team was plagued by injuries that made a tough situation even worse. They lost a ton of talent to graduation last year, so they already had huge shoes to fill all over the field. Add in some injuries, and it really tested their depth. Cardinals lost one of their leaders before the season even started. Jacoby Peterson would have anchored their defensive line, but he was lost to a knee injury and watched his entire season, senior year, from the sideline. Cardinals struggled to find offense all year, and early on they moved some pieces around, but then lost one of their top playmakers when Danny Scheller went down with a lower body injury. Cardinals had four different starting quarterbacks this season. Jeremy Oddie started the season under center. Then Scheller had a start. Sophomore Aiden Snow had one start, but then was also sidelined with an injury. Step-in senior Murteza Muhammad, he started the last few. And at times they had a little rhythm, but most of the games they were behind early and they really never threatened. They only had one game that didn't go to running time in the fourth quarter. The Cardinals will lose this 26 seniors, which includes a lot of starters. But they will return a fair number of players that gained experience this year and should return a little bigger, a little faster, and a little stronger. The Cardinals also hope Scheller and Snow will be back and stay healthy, as they have shown promise for the future of this program.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, a long list, and it's always, obviously, there's a lot more parts to a football team than any other program, but
26 is a lot.
Well, I think we were there for senior night for Blaine, and I think they had close to 50.
Well, yeah.
So,
okay, yeah. Nope,
Jeremy Oddie, Jackson Young, Harold Berry, Lance Hill, Samson LeClaire, Murteza Muhammad, Braden Waldron, Dorian Solaris, Christian Cotto, Gavin Sayedith, John Pintz, Alan Sierra Lopez, Farson Ibrahim, Destin King. Oh, we're not done. J.J. Chol, Andre Matthews, James Hughes, Jacoby Peterson, Hayden Skillings, Connor Bowe, Keontae Huff, Jeremiah Walker, Colton Johnson, Michael Offord, Tristan Hargrave, Takulu Kalahi, and the managers Kelsey Kohler and Vi Wynn.
Yeah, and a lot of those names we talked about all season long.
Every single game, playing big roles. But again, it wasn't just the injuries, but who the injuries were to and at what times. I mean, you lose a guy like Jacoby, who would have been a third-year starter in the middle of that line, would have been the anchor and just a solid leader on the defensive side. Then you lose Scheller. Really, he went down. Was it game 3 that he went down? No, he went down game 2. Then he started game 3 and got hurt again. I think by the end of the first quarter. And then we saw Snow, I think, can be a solid quarterback.
He
looked good in the very little bit we saw him. He had one start. He went down. Murtaza Muhammad, to his credit, wow. You're basically, you're the 4th choice, but you're the only choice come the end of the season. And to perform the way that he did and show the rapid growth that he showed was pretty impressive. And the offense, they never got a win. Saw very little spots where things look good, but first half against Blaine. First quarter they had a lead. Second half against Maple Grove was against second and third string.
True, and they won that half.
But they won that half. And the first half against Blaine, they performed pretty well until the very end of the second quarter. But yeah, they've got their work cut out for them as well, moving to next season.
And you talked about Murtaza. The thing that I liked about him is that the fact he didn't panic. I mean, you play against teams in this conference, and you're playing some of the best in the state. And he did not panic. He did not shrink under pressure. He did a really good job, I thought, of just keeping that team going as best as he could.
Agreed.
Considering the lack of talent that they had compared to some other squads. But that was impressive.
Yeah, and but that's it. That's the end of the fall season. We certainly wish all the swimmers and divers the best of luck at this week's section tournament. For us here at CTN, though, it's time to turn the clock ahead to the winter season. The girls hockey team drops the puck on the new season on Saturday afternoon at Eden Prairie, and Howie,
we'll be there.
And then they will be at STMA on Tuesday night next week, and we will be there as well.
Actually, Gentry. They're playing Gentry.
Yes, you're correct. Yep. We'll get it figured out eventually. They open the home schedule on Tuesday the 19th against Rogers, both a conference and section opponent. Very excited to see what the Fighting Bluebirds can do this season. Is this the year they get all the way to the section championship? Only time will tell.
Let's hope so.
But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.